back to the Fumble Live. Thanks so much for tuning in today. We have a lot to get into. Montrezl Harrell claimed that a female ref was in her feelings, and I'm kind of dying to know what Jackie has to say about that. We're also talking about Dak Prescott and how he is expecting some big money. And then finally, Steph Curry gave some advice to James Wiseman, and we are going to break it down whether or not it really is good advice or not. But before we do all that, make sure you subscribe to our channel, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. Here's the Fumble Squad. I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward.
What's up, everybody? I'm Jackie Ray. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter @JRayTheFanatic.
So I just want to remind you guys, I mentioned this at the end of the show yesterday, but starting on Monday, March 8th, you guys, we are going to be going live at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time instead of 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So mark that on your calendars. That's all happening next week, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 12 p.m. Eastern. Also, we are still doing Fan Info Friday, so send us in those comments, those chats, questions, whatever it is. We'll be screenshotting them and answering them in that segment on Friday. Jackie, how are you feeling today? You doing well?
I am. This Fumble Squad gave me a little pep talk. I was having a day, but our producer, Leo, which is the voice of, he's God, if you ever hear a male voice on the Fumble Live, and Devin gave me a little pep talk, so I'm feeling good. I'm feeling inspired.
Good. I'm happy to hear that. I love that. We are here to inspire, so if anybody has any questions in the chat, if you need, we'll give you the best advice we can, like Steph Curry gave to James Wiseman. But okay, let's jump into this first need-to-know news story. I want to talk about Montrezl Harrell. So he is claiming that a female ref was in her feelings after she gave a foul against him. So we're going to break this down. Trez yelled and won when he was retreating, and that's obviously a term used to appeal for a free throw after being fouled on a successful shot. And he swears he didn't curse or say anything explicit. And if you watch the clip, which we do have available in a video that's coming up on our channel later today, you guys can hear he really doesn't say anything profane. But then Jenna turned around and gave him a tech because he said, quote, she was in her feelings because she felt like I was too loud with her or I belittled her when we were talking. Leo, can you roll the clip of his post-game interview right now?
I'm not looking at her. I was nowhere near her vicinity. I'm running back on defense, and what I said was and one. No cursing, no profanity, none of that. And she turned around and gave me a tech because she was in her feelings, because she felt like I was too loud with her or I belittled her when we was talking. Like, you can't bring that into the game. Like, I don't care who it is. I don't care what the situation is, man. Like, everybody on the bench, everybody in the arena, even the guy sitting at the scores table said, you can't do that. You can't give a guy a tech just for saying and one. If I'm going to get a tech for saying and one, man, then they might just take me up all year, man.
So, okay, like he said, he insists that he has the support of the Kings Arena employees, on fans on both sides. And I think I do agree that it was not the right call there. But I also think that he is doing himself a disservice, and I think female refs a disservice by talking about her being in her feelings. So whenever women go into a male-dominated industry, like being a referee, they're dealing with male athletes all the time. The expectation is that women are going to act on their emotions and be too soft and too sensitive to handle the pressures of working in that kind of environment. And while maybe some women are too soft, I know I am way too sensitive for a job like that, so I wouldn't be able to handle it. But I think that a woman who does go into this profession knows that that is kind of the stereotype that's following her, and she's probably doing everything that she can to make sure that people don't have a reason to say that she's acting on her emotions. This was a bad call. I agree, not the right call here, but I don't think it's because she was too in her feelings. I don't think she was holding a grudge. I think that she just made a bad call. We've seen male refs make bad calls a ton this season. I feel like we have something new to talk about every single day when it comes to that kind of thing. So the only thing that I take issue with is Trez saying that she was too in her feelings. He said, quote, the tech that I got definitely was a big one for me and definitely shouldn't have been called. I'm not looking at her. I was nowhere near her vicinity. I'm running back on defense. I think some of the referees, and this is not bashing any referee in general, but there cannot be any instances of calling the game that soft. So I think the one thing that's clear here is that something needs to change with the refs. There needs to be an adjustment. But I think that Trez could have done better in saying that she was too in her feelings. But Jackie, where do you stand on this?
I stand with Trez. I'm not actually mad at his statement because, first of all, I saw that call, and while I'm watching the game, what he said was nice compared to what I said. I must have cussed that lady from up one side and down the other. Like, what the hell are you calling? I was so infuriated. I'm sure she felt me in her spirit because I was that upset with her. But here's the thing. I've said this about male refs. I've said, oh, so-and-so is in his feelings. That ref that ejected old boy when he tried to, damn it, who was that? Who rolled the ball at him? I said he was in his feelings. It's a term that we use. I understand that using it when it's directed towards females makes some people feel some type of way because it does imply that, oh, women are more emotional, they're more sensitive. But again, that's a phrase that I use, and I'm going to use it indiscriminately. And so since I use it for males, I feel 100% comfortable saying that she was in her feelings, because otherwise the call doesn't make sense. If you're not in your feelings, sis, why make the call? Trez is 100% right. He was nowhere near you. And if you ain't never heard the phrase "and one" before after somebody shoot, then you shouldn't be reffing this game. So if you wasn't in your feelings, then what was it? What was it? What else could it possibly be? So look, and don't get in your feelings now that he said you in your feelings, because now you just doubly in your feelings. You about to go mess up another call. So just do better. That's all there is to it. You just got to do better. This isn't about you being a female. This is about you being in a moment and handling that moment wrong. If you were a male, we would still say you've been in your feelings. So put your big girl pants on and handle the fact that you was in your feelings on this call and get it better next time, because this one was absolutely wrong. I am tired of seeing any ref, I don't care, male or female, I'm tired of seeing refs having this much impact on a game. It's infuriating. And so I stand with Trez. He's 100% right on this one.
Yeah, I want to be clear. I agree that he has every right to be mad. And I guess in that situation, when you're doing a post-game interview, you're not really like calculating what you're going to say that much. But I just think that it comes off badly because women are always told that we're too emotional and too sensitive. So it doesn't come off well for him to be like, oh yeah, she was in her feelings. Even if he was willing to say that about a male ref or whatever, it doesn't look good for him. I feel like, I don't know, do you agree with me on that one, that because she is a female, yes, we should be treating everybody the same way. We should be able to say that anybody is in their feelings. But because she is a female referee in a male sport, that for Trez to say she's holding a grudge against me, that it does come off badly for him, whether or not he's right?
No. I absolutely do not feel this way. She was in her feelings. I am a female sitting here telling you that I watched that play and she was in her feelings. If you don't want people saying that you're in your feelings, don't be in your feelings. It's an easy fix. And I don't care. I don't care that people are going to say, oh, well, she's a female, he shouldn't have said it. Then she shouldn't have done it. Don't be in your feelings if you don't want people saying you in your feelings. It's an easy fix. And so, no, I don't think he looks bad at all. I stand with him on this one.
Well, the chat was, I saw some people who agreed with me, some people that agree with you. It seems like we are divided, but I think one thing we can all agree on is the fact that right now there has been so many problems that have come up between athletes and refs, and something has to change there. Okay, let's move on to our next Need to Know News update. So, NFL insider Jane Slater revealed that Dak Prescott wants a long-term deal that gets him closer to the kind of money that Patrick Mahomes is making. As you guys know, Mahomes is on that 10-year, $500 million extension with the Chiefs. He signed that last year, and that was unheard of. We were all shocked when Patrick Mahomes signed. That's like a baseball contract. It's not a football contract. So also off productions, you're in your feelings, okay? Stop. What? You're in your feelings. Go away. Putting you in a timeout. Ridiculous. Get out of your feelings, my guy. Okay, let's get into this. Okay, so Jane Slater said, quote, the goal here is to get him signed to a long-term deal, and why would they continue using these costly tags on him if they didn't feel he was their franchise guy? By the way, last year's money was in the ballpark of Russell Wilson, Jared Goff type money. Now he's looking to be paid right behind Patrick Mahomes, a guy who's gone to the Super Bowl 2 years in a row, and Dak hasn't done that yet. They feel like it's been a respectable offer. She also said his camp, quote, believes he needs to bear what the market value is, and they feel like this is the deal that should have been done 2 years ago, so your problems with money aren't our problems. It's still about respect. There has to be some give by both sides to get this done. So he earned $31.4 million last year, despite that season-ending injury that took him out in Week 5. We did see the team's offense crumble without him there. So are his demands justified? Jackie, is it a reach for him to expect a Patrick Mahomes-type contract?
I think it's a reach all the way to Mars. I think this is absurd for him to ask this thing. I really do like that. I think he's great for that franchise. I think he's great for that organization. I definitely want him to succeed. All that being said, if this was a situation that I had any say in at all, I would franchise him again. And the reason I'm going to franchise him again is because now I need to make sure I'm not giving you any sort of contract right now when you've been to the playoffs. You played in 3 playoff games and you've won just one. That's not the kind of track record that lets you say, I want to demand something. That's not what this is. So if I work for the Dallas Cowboys, and again, I like Dak much more than I like the Dallas Cowboys. So this isn't, but it's a business. I'm gonna franchise him again. I'm gonna see how he's gonna bounce back from this injury. If he's gonna call my bluff on it, I'm going to do everything I can to get Deshaun Watson. Period. Because Deshaun Watson is in a situation that does not work. He wants to get out. He's made it very clear that he wants to get out. At bare minimum, I am an upgrade from the Texans. And I'm going to try to go get Deshaun Watson because Deshaun Watson is about that life. And he's the number one passer. Dak has only been the number one passer, I think, one season. One season he got up to those numbers, and none of those numbers amounted to anything. So I'm going to go get Deshaun Watson. I'm going to bring him over to my organization if Dak is going to fight me on this franchise tag, but I'm absolutely going to franchise tag him again. I'm going to see how he comes back from this injury. If he wins 2 playoff games, if he succeeds in going through this season without getting another injury, then we can revisit this. But from a business standpoint, I am not giving you any kind of big money right now. Not going to do it, especially when there's other viable options out there on the table that I can go get right now. If you want to be in your feelings, I got options. So not going to do it.
Today is the show all about being in your feelings, apparently. I agree with you. I mean, the fact that Patrick Mahomes got that kind of contract is unheard of and was shocking and wild to literally everybody. Nobody really expected that kind of deal to go through. So for Dak to want that and expect that, I think is for sure a reach. How do you think the Cowboys are going to react to this? What do you think they are going to do? I know you said that you feel like they're probably going to laugh in his face, but what do you think they will offer him?
I think I'm right. I think they're going to franchise tag him again. And I think they're going to sit down with him. I know that he and Jerry seem to have a really good relationship. And I think that Jerry's going to sit him down and say, look, we love you. Because I think they do. There's definitely a love. Dallas, that city loves him. Those players love him. Jerry loves him. Now it's about sitting you down and saying, look, I understand what you want, but show me on this piece of paper right here. When you say you want a contract that resembles what Russell Wilson, who's been to the Super Bowl twice, won once, Patrick Mahomes, who's been to the Super Bowl twice, won once, back to back, mind you. Tell me on this paper what you have done that resembles anything like I just said. And that's why you get this franchise tag. And here's this steak and some wine, and I hope it makes you feel better. But enjoy this franchise tag or test the market. And that's the thing. I don't want Dak to feel like he needs to back himself into the corner. If you really feel like you're that good where you can actually go test the market, test it out. And take them first couple weeks, take all of the preseason, all of that, test the market. And then when nobody's really checking for you right there, because we still have this juggernaut in Deshaun Watson that everybody's willing to throw the entire farm at, when he doesn't move and then you don't move either, then come back and we'll have a toast to you getting this franchise contract. That's just how it's going to be. So, I mean, good
Mm-hmm.
luck to him, but I think ultimately it's going to be a situation where he takes that tag and then he's going to have to understand it. It's not a personal thing. It's literally a business move. I need to make sure that you are going to be viable for us for the long term.
Yes, exactly. And I feel like the chat agrees with you. Mamba Machine says some people think a little too highly of themselves. It's clear that based on what this Jane Slater said, Dak really does have a very high opinion of himself. Confidence is everything when you're an athlete, but I think it's a little taking it a little too far here. Okay, let's go into our next Need to Know News update. So this one also has a little bit to do with confidence. Steph Curry gave some advice to James Wiseman, and the best suggestions that he has for the rookie is just to block out the noise, which is something we tell athletes to do all the time. But Steph specifically says, don't pay attention to what the other rookies are doing. He said, quote, "It's a matter of continuing his confidence that he can provide huge value for us, not to get caught up in the rookie power rankings, the talk about other guys in the top of the draft class. Everybody's in a different situation. We love having him." So, I mean, Steph is obviously trying to reassure James Wiseman that he's a valued part of the team and they want him there. They picked him with the second overall pick in the 2020 draft, and they hoped that he would be able to fill the hole that they had at center. He's played a limited role throughout the season, and he's just kind of getting accustomed to it. He's still doing a good job, but he's slightly inconsistent. And when you look at other rookies who were in his class, like LaMelo Ball, I mean, LaMelo is having a really great breakout year. We are all pretty impressed with everything that he's been able to do. Anthony Edwards has been balling out too. So it's just an interesting comparison to draw. So, Jackie, I want to ask you, do you feel like it's crucial for young guys to not get caught up in all of the rankings and, rookie of the year, all of that in their first year? Or is it more important for them to pay attention to the competition, see what other guys are doing, and then level up?
That one's hard because I know when you come in a class together, no matter what it is, I mean, there's always that class. I was first in my class in this. I was best in my class at this. No matter what, whether it's high school, an academy, whatever it is, that isn't a very, very important thing because at that point, you guys are all coming in and technically you're on the same playing field, even though LaMelo technically, in my opinion, is a little bit elevated because he has that professional experience, even though it wasn't here in the States. He still, to me, is in a higher level, even though he's in the same draft class. So for me, it's hard to put him, on the same level as these guys. But I do think sometimes you just have to take a step back, and there's a such thing as late bloomers. And I think James Wiseman is really in a good situation because it's not like he's not doing well, like you said. The inconsistencies, some of that is coming because they're not playing him consistently. And I think the Warriors right now are in this time where they're trying to really redefine who they are. Perhaps this would have been better if they knew exactly who they were and he came in and they were like, this is your role. This is what we need you to do. We understand it. But they are in this like redefining time. So now he needs to sit back and realize, all right, I can't do everything I want to do because they can't do everything they want to do yet. They're still trying to figure out who needs to do what. And I think Steph is 100% right. Now you need to not look at your draft class so much because technically that's the short game. That's what's happening right now. You need to look at the long term, learning from your fellow teammates and learning from somebody like Steph Curry, and Steve Kerr and your coaching staff. That's going to develop you for the long run. And now you're going to probably be getting accolades and awards later. Not to say that James Wiseman or Anthony Edwards or LaMelo aren't all going to have fantastic careers. I'm just saying right now, from you coming in, you looking at like, well, wow, LaMelo's over here doing this, and LaMelo's, it gets hard for you. And I think that Steph is absolutely right. You need to block out the noise because ultimately, I think all of these guys are going to have a great career. It's just that James Wiseman is a little slower out the blocks. For those of you who run track, y'all know what I mean. He's just a little slower to get up and running. But long term, I think he'll be great.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jackie. I think that while it is important to take note of what's around you, we've seen rookie years, it's just such a transformative time for these young athletes. We see guys go at the top of the draft class, they get, picked first, second, or third, and then they don't really do that well. They don't really live up to those kinds of expectations. And then we've seen the opposite, where somebody who is not the one that you're watching ends up having a really great breakout first year as a rookie or later on. So I feel like so much is still up for change, and they can just evolve in such a big way. So I agree with you on that one. Mamba Machine echoed a similar sentiment that you had. I think he said something about, I can't find it now. Mamba, what happened?
I don't know. I think it's important for rookies to stay level-headed and humble. They still have a lot to learn and much to observe. And then I also want to shout out Analytical. Said Wiseman was injured, and so he missed some of his learning opportunities. And that's true, too. Like, when you just aren't 100% off top, it does kind of give you a learning curve. So, there's a lot to play, and I get it, because I kind of feel bad for him, because I was one of those people that was like, oh, he's going to go in there and he's going to dominate. And so there's a part of me that wonders that if he didn't hear all of those people, because I wasn't the only one that said it, so many people said that, and now his minutes are limited. He's been inconsistent. And so I'm sure all of this praise and stuff that he was getting off top is still sticking with him. That was one of the things. That's how I became a LeBron fan, is him being 18 coming in the league and everyone saying, oh, he's the savior. I'm like, he's a freaking kid. Fall back. You know what I mean? So it's kind of the same thing. And I just don't want him to miss this learning opportunity. I don't want him to miss the fact that he is in a great situation. He's with an organization, like I said, that's redefining themselves. So just go with it and learn your game and learn what your role is on that team. And as best you can, I know it's hard, but as best you can, just block out all the other noise and focus on who you are with your team.
Exactly. And I found the one, it was actually JD in the chat, says James Wiseman going to get buckets in the second half of the season, mark my words. It's kind of like what you were saying. You feel like he's going to come into his own and still be able to make that impact and build up that solid. I mean, he already has a good reputation, but make it even stronger and better, more like somebody like LaMelo later on in the season. And I'm with you. Right now, the Warriors are, if anyone is actually going through a transitional phase right now, it is the Warriors so much. They've been in it for a while now. They are dealing with a lot right now. So I think that's all really good points. Pay attention to what's around you, see what the other guys are doing, but don't let it get to your head. I think that is good advice. And on that note, let's wrap up Need to Know News. Jackie, can you take us into the post-up?
Yes, let's get into the post-up, you guys. This one's going to be fun because I get to talk bad about Joel Embiid off top. And I like Joel, but he's that guy that I really like. But sometimes he just really gets on my nerves. This is one of those times. So the Jazz, the game was 131-123. They lost in overtime to the 76ers. And trust me when I say this is another one of those games like we just talked about. The refs should not have this kind of impact on a game because it is infuriating. The first point of this is Donovan Mitchell was ejected from the game, but he was ejected because Joel Embiid was like, hey, he's over there. He's complaining. Come on, ref. And the ref kind of sees Joel saying, hey, just take a look. Let me show you the video. Let me stop talking about it. Let me show you the video. Take a look. I cannot. That's a punk move to me. That is a punk move to me because, and for two reasons. Number one, Joel, stop. You didn't have to, just because the man was talking, he didn't do anything to you physically. Yes, he might have been running his mouth, but he didn't do anything to you physically. That's number one. And number two, for the ref not to call it immediately, see Joel say, hey, he's still talking. And then the ref to be like, oh, he is still talking, technical. No, if you don't immediately see it and you don't immediately call it ref, then you don't stop. This is too much. But rightfully so, Donovan Mitchell was a little bit pissed off because that was his second technical of the game. He ended up getting ejected at that point, and then he took his frustrations out on the jug or whatever, the Gatorade jug, and take a look what happens.
Defense by Ben Simmons. Donovan thought otherwise. Ooh, knock it down.
Well, and you know what? Yeah, that's the league is going to have a look at that.
Exactly.
But let me say this. You are locked in an overtime game. It's still very much a game, and you're getting yourself ejected?
Yeah. Well, that's...
See, that's the comment that irritates me. He didn't get himself ejected. He is a player that has passion. So basically what these refs are saying is when you go out here and you play and you have passion, oh no, I'm gonna give you a technical foul for that because you're being verbal. This is ridiculous to me. I understand that Donovan Mitchell hit that and he hit it into the security. Security guy was like, hold on, I didn't eject you. He didn't obviously mean to do that and he apologized for it. But this is what we're talking about. I do not like the refs having this kind of impact on the game. Donovan Mitchell obviously had a lot to say about it after the game, so I want to show you his little rant about this as well.
Get screwed in a way by this. Like we won this game, in my personal opinion, but like I said, I'm going to give them credit. They won, whatever, cool. But like this is it's a consistent thing. And, the question is, can we do it? Can we sustain it? Are we for real number one? Like, yeah, the hell we are. And it's getting fucking ridiculous, KK. That this is what's happening. You know what I mean? We have a whole second half of the season to go and get ready for, but like I'm sick of it. To be honest with you, we all are. And I think this is something that just it eats me. It eats at me, man. And it's I don't y'all know what it is. We all know what it is, but it's really getting out of hand. It's really, really, really getting out of hand. And the league needs to do something about this because I want to see the last 2-minute report.
Yeah, so he goes on for a little bit longer than that. I saw somebody in the chat say he's probably going to get a $50,000 fine. He probably is, between the little, jug going into the security guard and then talking bad about the refs. He probably will, but I think he's 100% right. This game is in overtime. I'm out here balling my behind off. Don't take me out of the game. And I don't like the commentators say, oh, don't get yourself ejected. That's not what happened. And Joel, this is a punk move because he decided to take this opportunity and go to his Twitter and just basically go, ha ha, I got you ejected. And he goes, feeling good going into the All-Star, we move, hashtag the process. So your process is snitching, basically. You out here just telling on somebody who's playing their game. Oh, Joel, this is not a moment for me and you. This is not one of those moments that's going to bring us closer together. And I'm just sorry about that. I'm going to move on to this next one, though, because I am very, very happy. Y'all know I am a LeBron sexual. Y'all say it's an insult. I say thank you. But I'm really excited about this because I don't really get to see LeBron be too petty that often, but he definitely channeled his inner Jackie Ray, and he was like, I'm just going to take this moment and just a touch, just a little sprinkle, a little salt bay of petty, because he posted this to his Twitter after the Nation posted an article about Kelly Loeffler and her racism being booted from the WNBA, and he said, stick to sports. Like, you can't stick to sports now because you have essentially been fired, and I am all for this because we know, we told you that Renee Montgomery and another 2 other people got together and they have purchased the LA Dream, so she is out of there. I am all for this. You guys know I love to see this, but there were people, the Karens, that agreed with Kelly Loeffler and her whole thing, and they said that this is actually good for her. One user posted a tweet that basically said that it's better for her, probably did her a favor. Who wants to lose money owning a shitty WNBA team? First and foremost, that team is worth $358 million, my friend. I would bet you didn't make $358,000 this year. So I definitely would want to own a team that was worth $358 million. That's number one. Number two, the WNBA had the highest increase of viewership last season. So they are definitely on the come up. Just because you don't know enough to know about them does not mean that them ladies over there are not balling and they are not doing their thing. But some people did appreciate this change and they had some positive things to say. I love this tweet from Debbie. She says, I'm happy for this whole team. Women's sports in general don't get enough coverage. So many talented, well-educated athletes out there, but by your teams. Thanks to all we have new, and they have an excellent new senator in Georgia as well. So I love this, and she's absolutely right. If this is what it takes to get women's sports into the forefront and for people to talk about them correctly, go out there and buy your team. Devin, I want to go to you really quickly. That comment where the young lady said, hey, you know what? This is probably better for Kelly because at least now she doesn't have to own a crappy NBA team. What do you think? Where did they even get that from? And what would you say to somebody like that?
I mean, this is obviously a person who doesn't watch the WNBA, doesn't know anything about it. They just want to go on and be a troll because, like you said, it's worth a ton of money. And can you hear me okay, by the way?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, just making sure. Because like you said, they're worth a ton of money, and especially I feel like in recent years we've seen the WNBA just become much more of a sport that people pay attention to. NBA athletes are always showing their support for their female counterparts, so I think that obviously that person is just a Karen, a troll who is wanting to say something that they think is like pouring salt in the wound, or they think makes them sound super like smart and better off. But no, Kelly she sucks, and she constantly threw her players under the bus, and she refused to acknowledge or respect the issues that they were facing and that they were wanting to address. So I think it's super awesome that she is out, and Renee Montgomery is 1000% not sticking to sports, and not just, she's coming in and changing things. So I think that that's awesome.
Yeah, I love it. And yes, I saw somebody in chat. Yes, we know that's what selling a team means, is she got paid for it. So yes, she got paid for it. But as that team continues to grow, and as the WNBA continues to grow and become more profitable, I'm excited to know that Kelly will have no parts of that. So that is a win for the WNBA for sure. So let's move on to this next one, because there's this gentleman named Trill Withers. Now, I honestly would not have seen this if it was not for this man tweeting about it, but I might be one of the only people that is kind of excited to see this. But he posted this to his Twitter and said, his comment was like the Rudy Gobert story with a question mark. But yes, ESPN is releasing a story about Rudy Gobert. It's called Man in the Middle, the Rudy Gobert story. It comes on Sunday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time for you guys that are there on the East Coast. And I might be one of the only ones, but I'm super geeked to see this. There better be a soundbite of me in the damn show, though, because I was probably the only person on television or online that was defending Rudy Gobert, because I said we don't know for sure that he is patient zero, because that's not how this virus works. I was in defense of Rudy. I'm probably the only one, but nobody else seems to be. Nobody seems to be on Team Rudy, and it's so sad. But take a look at this. I have some tweets of what people said about poor little Rudy and his show. I think it's going to be just me watching this at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, but I don't care. That's fine. I think there's some more tweets that we have coming. This one is the worst. It says, "Hey, did you see my docu?" And then just when Joel goes up and blocks his shot. That is so petty. So petty. So petty. Unnecessary. And then this person calls him the super spreader, the Rudy Gobert story. Y'all are so ridiculous. You do not know for a fact that man, it could have been Donovan Mitchell that gave it to Rudy, but Rudy was just the one out there that was playing and touching the mics and stuff. And yeah, that I don't like. I think I got a couple more tweets. This is the one that the person was like, the Rudy Gobert story, and then points at him like, sneezing and then going out there and touching everything. Y'all be doing too much. Rudy, I'm going to watch it, and that's what I want you to know. And this one says, not a story in the world I could care less about than the Rudy Gobert story. Whatever, y'all. Whatever. That's fine. I'm going to watch it.
Jackie,
it might just
let us know. Give us a synopsis. Let us know how it is. Can't say that I ever wished myself, man, I want to know the Rudy Gobert story. There are a bunch of other athletes in the NBA. I would rather see their story. But I do agree with you. I feel bad for all the backlash that he got for the COVID stuff. He was not patient zero. But yeah, Jackie, just let us know how it is. Save us the time and tell us if it's worth watching. Maybe right. We'll watch it.
So y'all, oh no, the Fumble says I would rather watch paint dry. The shade. Y'all. I would rather count sand one by one. I'm done. Y'all, the Rudy slander is not acceptable. Rudy, I'm going to watch it. And I'm going to tell y'all all about it. So make sure you're here Monday at 9 a.m. our time. I don't know what time that is on the East Coast. But yes, because y'all just doing too much. Rudy, I got you, Rudy. But let's move on to this next one. Because you guys know I have been pulling for Baker Mayfield most of the time, okay? I have said that maybe it's time for Cleveland to move on. I recanted that last season. I was like, nope, Baker Mayfield, I need you to stay there, and I need you to be successful. I need you to put that franchise back on the map. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I 100% believe him on what he posted. He posted this tweet that has had people saying, but I 100% believe him. He says, almost 100. I don't know what that EM is. Almost 100. And I just saw a UFO drop straight out of the sky on our way home from dinner. We stopped and looked at each other and asked if either of us saw it. Very bright ball of light going straight up and down out of the sky towards Lake Travis. Anybody else witnessed this? I don't care what y'all are about to say in the chat. Me and my brother saw a UFO when we were kids, and we never told anybody about it. I know my mom's not watching the show, so she's not going to pressure me on it. But I'm telling you, UFOs exist. Devin, I heard you had something to say. Go ahead, Devin.
No, I mean, I don't have a personal UFO story. Although I believe that if people have UFO sightings that they happened, I think that it would be silly for us to think we are the only intelligent life form out there. I feel like we obviously have other beings in the galaxy that are probably spying on us all the time. But Jackie, I just wanted to hear more about your UFO story. I'm so intrigued.
Yeah, so me, my brother, and my dad are very outdoorsy. We're literally the only ones in the family. I have a very, very big family, but we're the only ones that are outdoorsy. So me and my brother used to take hikes all the time and just go up and camp and fish, me, my brother, and my dad. So one day we got an RV. My dad bought this huge RV. We went up to the mountains. My dad was inside. Me and my brother were outside. I had just learned how to make a fire for real without using like matches and stuff. So I was trying to teach my brother. And all of a sudden, I start getting hit like really hard on my arm. And I'm like, what? Why are you hitting me? And we looked up and there was this like darkness. We didn't see lights immediately. It was just that you could see all the stars in the sky. And then there was just this darkness there. And then all of a sudden, we saw this flash of light and then it just took off. And my brother was like, oh, and I was like, I'm telling dad. And I went to run to the RV and my brother literally tackled me. He's like, he's not going to believe us. We just didn't say anything. And we have held that story to this day. We never told my dad. My dad left this earth without us ever telling him about that because my brother was terrified. Y'all, that doesn't mean anything to you guys. My brother is the most fearless person I know. And he was terrified. He was scared of what he saw and he was scared what people would think of us if we told them. So I totally believe in UFOs. Y'all say what you want, but I believe it. So some people don't, but I do.
I love that. Jackie, I believe you. I 100,000% believe you. I've seen ghosts before. We're getting really honest here on the Fumble. So maybe that's a conversation for a different time. But if you've seen aliens, I've seen ghosts. I believe it 1,000%. What an interesting story.
Yep, I did. I know y'all laughing at me. I see you, Doug. But yes, I saw it. And look, some of y'all don't believe Baker Mayfield either. But I like what this one user had to say. Even though I feel like he doesn't believe Baker Mayfield, he's more concerned about what happens on the field than he is Baker's UFO sightings. And he says, I just don't like my franchise quarterback having alien encounters in the offseason. You know where you don't have UFO sightings? The film room. Why do you think you don't hear Tom Brady going X-Files? He's watching tape. I mean, come on, Baker. The man was coming for dinner. Okay, people got to eat. Whether he's watching film or not, people got to eat. It was on the way home. I am totally with it. This one is hilarious to me. But this one person, and I see somebody else in the chat said there's proof of alien life. Apparently, we have a message from the future, guys. It says, that's the problem with people. Nobody believes you. I do. I'm from the future, and we laugh at how primitive humans are. In the future, we drink coffee and liquor with our alien homeboys. See? Proof. Told y'all.
I can't believe that. Okay. All right. Cool. Thanks, future man.
Right? Yeah. There it is. Okay. So look, now you guys know there's nothing more than I would love than to have a day where I don't have to talk about Shaq. This is not that day, but this is something that I actually really, really like. This is actually fun. This is the fun side of Shaq. I've never denied that there's not a fun side of Shaq. It's just always comes when he's not talking about sports. I just don't like when he talks about basketball. But even though this is fake, I love seeing Shaq in this way and him out there having fun doing something unique. So take a look at him in his AWE moment. I'm so used to WWE. AWE moment. Take a look.
Ooh, big swing and a miss, and Cody with the poke of the eyes. Now Cody on the top. Oh my God in heaven! Good God Almighty! The tables are everywhere. People are shattered. It's incredible. This crowd's gone wild. Holy hell!
I love the holy hell. Apparently, Shaq was disqualified. Something I don't know. I didn't watch the match. I'm not a huge AEW fan. But I love how, even though we all know this is fake, that these wrestling fans, have full on conversations about it like it's real. And apparently, this DQ annoyed this Twitter user. He says, "Props to Shaq for having the balls to take that spot. But can someone please explain how that wasn't a DQ? I don't know. Can you explain to me why you all upset about this? It's not real, my guy." But I also very much love Elite Memes for making this, because this is definitely going to be me this weekend. It says, "Netflix, are you watching me? Shaq knocked out." That's definitely going to be me this weekend. And I love them for doing that. But shouts out to Shaq. This is the kind of Shaq that I need to see. I might actually start watching wrestling if Shaq was doing it. But just if you could fall back a little bit on the things that you say publicly, or at least think them through a little bit better. All right. For the record, I'm just going to say right now that body shots to me mean something totally different. So when I saw this next one pop up, I'm like, okay, we about to turn up. Nope, totally different body shot, totally different challenge. But Ryan Garcia put Juju Smith through the body shot challenge. Not what you think it is, if you think like me too. And I'm here for it. Take a look. I mean, okay, that's definitely not the challenge that I thought. And that is definitely not a challenge that I would participate in. The shot challenge that was in my head, I'd participate in, but not this one. But shouts out to Juju, though. He took it like a champ. But once again, the internet is undefeated, because the clapback was ridiculous. This is Juju's insides right now. Why y'all got to do my girl Yana like that, though? That's completely necessary. I don't know why y'all had to do my girl like that. But I see what you did there, and it is hilarious. But yes, can we shout out to Juju? I see all in the chat. I can see all in the chat. Can we shout him out, though, for taking them hips like a champ, though? Can we do that? Devin, don't you think he needs some props for that?
Oh, for sure. Definitely deserves props for that. Not something I would want to participate in. When I heard body shots the first time around, before I looked at the docket here, I was thinking like tequila shots. So
that's what I was thinking. Okay, yeah. Yes.
I'll participate. I'll take some tequila shots.
Right. But then when I saw Garcia and Juju body shot challenge, I was like, who's taking the shots off of who here? And then when I saw it, I was like, oh, okay, that explains a lot. That's definitely not where my head was at. But okay.
We're already thinking about the weekend. Like, mine's on the weekend. We're all about the tequila.
Right. And look, don't threaten me with a good time. The Fumble in the chat says, who wants to see Jackie do the shot challenge? If we don't challenge me with a good time, y'all, I got liquor on either side of me right now. I got bars on this side, bars on that side. Don't play with me. Don't play. All right, so let's get into this next one, you guys, because this one, we have this debate all the time. We talk about, should sports be co-ed? And I know we're tiptoeing to this time where now all of a sudden biology is going to come into play, and does the gender you're born with, should that dictate where you play your sports? So we have to take a moment and give a shout out to this young lady, because she is deciding to blow that whole entire conversation completely out of the water. The North Carolina High School Athletic Association posted this to their Twitter. I want you to take a look at this young lady, because she is 106 pounds. She is tiny, and she is the first female wrestler to win an individual state wrestling championship. And she, my friends, is fighting against the boys. So take a look. Oh, that's such a proud moment. I'm so excited for her. It was just an interesting moment to see. I wish that ref had gotten out the way so I could have seen the full effect of how she won that match. But I totally agree with this next user and how important this moment in time is. She says, that is amazing. For all the girl wrestlers out there, the impossible is possible. Live your dreams and go for it. And I think that's such a huge message for young ladies, period. You need to understand that you can definitely do it no matter what the conversation is, no matter what the obstacles that are in front of you. This was a huge, huge moment. Devin, seeing that, does it kind of make you go, oh, wow. Like, I just never thought I would see a young lady be the only one in a male-dominated sport and come out on top. That was beautiful.
Yeah, no, it's very impressive, and it shows women can do anything, you guys. She is certainly not in her feelings. I think we can say that right now. Very impressive, and I love that. Such an amazing moment.
Yeah. Now, this next one, you guys, I saw this over the weekend, and I am so glad it made it into the post-up because it is hilariously perfect. I think that all of us need to go out of our way to inspire the youth, to make them feel like we just said, that you can do anything, no matter the obstacles, just keep practicing, and I think we should help them. But no participation trophies, which is basically what this video says. So take a look. It has really sad music in it. Wha-bam. It starts out with this guy, he's like, I see this kid, he's practicing all the time and nobody wants to play with him. And it's that whole sad music. And then he walks over and then knocks his balls out the park. I love that. Don't let him think that you just gonna let him win. This is how you make kids better. I'm all for this. It's just so touching. And look at him. He's like, oh, no one will play with me. Sad day, sad day. And then he's like, it doesn't seem like he has too many friends. I love stuff like this and then I was like, well, wait a minute. I hope that's not their very first game, but it looks like it's the same outfit that he had on. So I think that is their very first game. Hilarious. I love this. Good job to both of those people, both of those kids. Very, very good job. That's all I have for the post up. That was a lot of fun. Very much so. Mamba Machine, I saw you say that's so savage. That is absolutely correct. We're going to switch gears a little bit though, guys. We're going to get into what we're not going to do. And to be honest, I don't know who said this in the chat yesterday, but you had mentioned the things that were going on with Damian Lillard. So that is why this is being talked about today, because you're absolutely right. Definitely need to put this out on the forefront because it's definitely one of those things that we need to talk about. And we've mentioned several times all the things that Karl Anthony Towns has had to go through with losing several people, including his mother, to COVID and all of that. And then we've applauded Jordan for being there for him and helping him get over that. And we've done all this because Karl Anthony Towns has really kind of kept us on the forefront. He's kept us informed. He's tweeted about these things. He's told us what's going on in his life. So we know all of these things because he shares them with us. So I definitely want to kind of shed a light on this life lesson. Not everybody grieves like that. Not everybody grieves in public. Some of us do hold pain in part because that's just who we are. We're the ones that hold everything together for everyone else. We're the fixers of our family. So we try to help other people who are in our circle when something tragic happens. But that also leaves us in a point where everything kind of goes inward, where I don't think that that's the most healthy thing in the world. So I just want to shout him out for this because this is part of the reason why I feel for Damian Lillard, because I feel like he's like that, because we haven't spoke about this at all. We haven't talked about what he's going through because he hasn't really talked about it. But it's been going on for quite some time. I know I've been seeing articles that said, oh, this is happening for the last 18 months. But in truth, this has been almost 2 years that this man has been going through something. He's been suffering in some way. So it's some sort of loss, just from a loved one or family member or a very, very close friend. So Jarrell Lillard, who is Damian's half brother, he was shot and killed in Portland on March 29th of 2018. And then to add insult to injury to that, the two young men who killed his brother, they were only sentenced to 7.5 years. So I think that leaves a scar, because it's going to take a long time for him to get over that. And these guys that killed his half brother, they're going to be in their late 20s when they get out of prison. So they're going to be free to live the rest of their lives and long lives, because they're going to still be technically in their prime. So that takes a lot to kind of process. And then in July of that same year, Damian did tell us about this when he opened up about the fact that he had this like bout of paranoia because a young lady, now he didn't know her, but she went to his high school, and for some reason, some random person came out of nowhere and just stabbed her. And he was very afraid of that, because he thought he had this time where he went around wondering, is this perfectly good stranger sitting next to me going to be the person that spazzes out one day and tries to take my life? And it's understandable that he had that thought process, because again, that was 4 months after his brother was killed. So then you fast forward to May of 2020, and Damian Lillard found out his cousin and longtime personal chef, Brandon Johnson, had died in his Portland home. He found this out because he found him. He was the one who discovered him dead. So let that sink in. I know a lot of us have experienced loss, but it's very rare that you walk in and you see someone dead. That doesn't happen to most of us, and it's a very traumatic thing if it does. And then one of Damian Lillard's aunts, she died from cancer, and then a friend died from COVID a few months after that. And now we're just getting into the groove of 2021, and Damian Lillard's cousin is killed in Oakland. So this is just a lot. That's a lot. And then last Thursday, the day before the Lakers game, Damian Lillard learned that the shooting death of two people in his inner circle. One was a cousin who they had just had Thanksgiving dinner together. The other was like family, the best friend, and perhaps his closest cousin, who was also one of the first people in an effort to support Damian Lillard, moved to Portland in 2012 so he could be there and help him as he started his journey with the Portland Trailblazers. And then one of the reasons why we don't really know about this, again, is because he's very, very private, and it doesn't seem outwardly, it doesn't seem like there's a lot going on. We've seen him in these Hulu commercials. We've seen him be clutch time and time again in the games that he's playing. And right now he is in the top 10 as far as scoring in the league, and he is leading his team in scoring and assists. And right now Portland is 5th in the West, and that is all because of Damian Lillard. So it's easy to kind of just not understand all of this man, what he's going through. He's been going through so much, and he, like I said, he didn't want to play last week, but he ended up playing anyway. He played 42 minutes and scored 35 points. And then 6 days ago, Leo, if we can get that picture back up there again, he posted this to his IG. Now, I follow Damian Lillard, and I get notifications when he posts stuff. I saw this post. I did not read the caption, though. And that's the thing. I just saw this, and I said, oh, Dame's out there having a good time. I liked it, and I moved on. But in the caption, he says, lost my cousin and I think that means, I forget the term, that the definition of that, but it's somebody very close to him in the same day. On the same day he lost them, and he said 2021 is starting an effed up start. And so now he has this picture that he posted with his family. I don't know who's who in the picture, but basically he posted that to let us know he's grieving. And then he had an interview with The Athletic, which kind of brought all this stuff to the forefront. And he says, what really matters in life? When you consider that and you consider what your family is going through, it's a battle mentally to put yourself in the place where this game is the most important thing right now. Again, there is a lesson there, because this man is going out. He didn't even want to play. He goes out and not only plays, but plays the majority of the game, and is the only reason that they were close enough to perhaps get a win. They didn't get that win, but he's the one that got them close enough. So his family and his family have been going through a lot since 2018. But again, until he shared this, none of us really knew. So I know a lot of us have heard a little bit of it. I don't know if we knew everything that he's been going through from 2018. And I'm positive that he has been flooded with lots of love and support, but y'all just need to go over there to his Instagram or his Twitter and flood him with a lot more. And just remember this, because this is something that happens to a lot of people. I'm one of those people. A lot of people didn't know until a year after, unless you were like really, really close to me. A lot of people didn't know until a year after my father died that my dad had passed away, because I dealt with that internally. Horrible idea, by the way. Let me just go ahead and say that now. I ended up having to go to therapy because I just didn't grieve properly. Horrible idea. I do not recommend you internalizing that, but there are a lot of people in this world who are like that. we still need your love and support. And so just go over to Dame Dolla's, his Instagram, his Twitter, and flood him with a lot of love. And then after you do that, make sure you go to your loved ones, your friends, your family, everyone that you've talked to. I know a lot of us have those friendships that they're just like that. We might go a couple months here or there without talking to them, and it's fine because the love is always there. But trust me when I tell you, take a moment and go tell somebody you love them, because tomorrow's not promised to any of us. And make sure you encourage people when you find out they are going through something. So what we're not going to do is not love on each other as much as we can, because again, tomorrow's not promised. So that's all I got for what we not going to do. We going to end it in all love. I know sometimes I get all like in my feelings, but today I am in my feelings, and I'm telling you, you got to love on each other as much as possible.
Jackie, that is such a good message, and I appreciate you sharing that. I also think it's really great that we've been able to talk about, or that you talked about, what Dame's been going through, because, yeah, it's very easy to make a judgment about a person, about how they are, how they behave, how they're playing, or whatever, and you don't really even know what's going on behind the scenes. But Dame, one thing that I think is pretty respectable about him is that he does still go out there every single time, every single game, night after night, and he isn't sitting on the sidelines, and he isn't, letting it affect what he can do on the court. But of course, not everybody has that kind of mental toughness. Like, for example, Paul George in the bubble struggled with his mental health and was totally dragged for it and criticized for it. So people just handle grief and trauma and depression in a number of different ways. And I think that it's just important we recognize that these athletes are people first and foremost. They're human beings first and foremost, and they're athletes second. And just sending so much love to Dame. I can't imagine what he's been going through. And so thank you for bringing that up, Jackie. I really appreciate that. I think it's important that we do that. And on that note, since we are spreading all the love right now, I just want to say, Jackie and everybody behind the scenes at the Fumble, absolutely love all you guys. For those of you that tune into the chat, thank you so much. Sending you love, except for that one person who was being annoying at the top of the show, but I got rid of him. This message is not for you, my guy, but let's wrap up the show. Don't forget, we are going live on Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's our new live time. Subscribe, tap the bell for notifications, leave a comment below, give this video a thumbs up, and we will see you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Yes.
Tomorrow's Friday, right? Tomorrow's Friday. So
yes.
aren't we doing, you guys, I hope if you have a second, take some time right now, fast type if you have any questions for us tomorrow, because aren't we doing Fan or Foe tomorrow?
Yes, I reminded everybody at the top of the show, but they probably forgot, so I'm glad you mentioned that again, because yes, they probably forgot. Okay, so Fan or Foe tomorrow, then 9 a.m. on Monday. You guys send the questions. We'll check the comments of the video, of this video later in the day. And yeah, you guys, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys later. Wash your hands, wear a mask, be nice. Bye.